Hi students, in this lecture we are going to discuss about the Maxwell's mesh current method. There are so many methods are available for analyzing and simplifying an electric circuit. Maxwell's mesh current method is one of that. So here in this method, the Kirchhoff's voltage law is applied to a network to write the mesh equation in terms of the mesh currents instead of the branch currents. So we had studied about the KVL method, Kirchhoff's law methods. In those methods we are taking the branch currents instead of the mesh currents. Here we are taking the mesh currents instead of the branch currents. Here each mesh is assigned with a separate mesh current, and this mesh current is assumed to be flow in clockwise direction around the perimeter of the mesh without splitting at a junction into branch currents. So Kirchhoff's voltage law is then applied to write the equation in terms of the unknown mesh currents, and the branch currents are then found by taking the algebraic sum of the mesh currents which are common to the branches. Okay, that is about the Maxwell's mesh current method. And next we are going to discuss about the steps for doing this Maxwell's mesh current method. So here each mesh is assigned with a separate mesh current, and we assume the all mesh currents are flows in clockwise direction. That is the first step. And second is that if two mesh currents they are flowing through a circuit element, through the same circuit element, the actual current in the circuit element is the algebraic sum of the two. So that is the second one. It depends upon the sign of the currents which we get by analyzing the circuit. And the third one is that the Kirchhoff's voltage law is applied to write the equation for each mesh in terms of mesh currents. So while writing the mesh currents, we are taking the rise in potential as positive sign, and the fall in potential we are taking with a negative sign. And the fourth step is that the value of any mesh current comes out of to be the negative after getting the solution. Then it means that the true direction of that mesh current is in anti-clockwise. That is the opposite direction which we previously, that is in the initial condition, we are assuming the currents are flowing in clockwise direction. Finally we got the value of current as a negative one. Then it indicates that the assumed direction is wrong. Actually the current flows in anti-clockwise direction. That are the steps which are following in Maxwell's mesh current method. So here we are going to discuss one problem. So in the circuit shown in figure, find the magnitude and direction of each branch current by mesh current method. So this is the circuit. It consists of A, B, C and D. These are the points. And in the branch AB it consists of 40 ohm resistance, and in BC 60 ohm resistance, and BD it is 20 ohm resistance, and here we are using an voltage source of 120 volt, and here it is 65 volt. So first of all we have to assign the mesh currents. Here the circuit consists of two meshes. Mesh means a closed path. This is the first mesh and this is the second mesh. So next we are going to assume the mesh currents. Here it is I1 and I2. These are the two mesh currents. So the first mesh is A, B, D, A, and the second one is B, C, D, B. These are the two meshes, and I1 and I2 are the two mesh currents. Next we are going to apply the KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law, in each mesh. For the mesh ABDA, we get the mesh equations like minus 40 I1 minus 20 into I1 minus I2 plus 120. That is, here this 120 is a rise in potential, it indicates a rise in potential, so we are taking it as a positive 120 volt value. And here next is a 40 ohm resistance, and the current is flowing through this 40 ohm resistance, and here occurs a voltage drop, and the voltage drop is taken as negative value, so minus 40 I1. And the third one is 20 ohm resistance. Through this 20 ohm resistance, I1 and I2 both are flowing through this 20 ohm resistance, so we can take the value like minus 20 into I1 minus I2. That is, one of the current is flowing downwards and another one is flowing upwards, so I1 minus I2. Here first we are taking this mesh, first mesh, so we are giving importance to the first current, so we can write like minus 20 into I1 minus I2. If we are taking the second mesh, then we can write like I2 minus I1. Okay, here we are considering the first mesh, so we can take this voltage drop like minus 20 into I1 minus I2. And on simplifying this equation, we get 60 I1 minus 20 I2 equal to 120. Mark it as equation number 1. And in a similar way, we can write the mesh equation for the second mesh BCDB by applying the KVL. We get minus 60 I2 minus 65 minus 20 into I2 minus I1 is equal to 0. In the second case also, here it is a voltage drop, so the current, we are assuming the current is flowing like this clockwise direction, so this voltage drop can be taken as minus 60 I2. And next is the voltage fall, it represents a voltage fall, so we can take that value as minus 65. And next is 20 ohm, it is common to the first mesh and second mesh, so the voltage drop can be taken as minus 20 into I2 minus I1. Here we are considering the second mesh, so we are giving importance to the second mesh current, so I2 minus I1 is the current which is flowing through this 20 ohm resistance. So on simplifying this equation, we get the final equations like final mesh equation for second mesh is minus 20 I1 plus 80 I2 is equal to minus 65. Mark it as equation number 2. On analyzing these two equations, we get the value of I2 is equal to minus 75 divided by 220 is equal to minus 0.341 ampere. While getting the value of I2, we can apply this value on any one of this equation and get we get the value of I1 easily. So I1 is equal to 1.886 ampere. So here I2 is equal to minus 0.341 ampere and I1 is equal to 1.886 ampere. So here the value of I2 is having a negative sign, so it means that the assumed direction of I2 is wrong. Actually the I2, the current I2, the current which is flowing through the second mesh is actually flows in the anti-clockwise direction. So that is the assumption. The same problem can be done with the help of determinant method. For the determinant method, we can take these two mesh equation, that is 60 I1 minus 20 I2 is equal to 120. That is the first mesh equation, and second is that minus 20 I1 plus 80 I2 is equal to minus 65. So we are taking these two mesh equations, and by this mesh equations we can write in a determinant method we can like this equations like 60 minus 20 minus 20 80 I1 I2 is equal to 120 minus 65. So for finding the value of I1, we should replace the first column with this voltage value divided by the delta of this matrix. So I1 is equal to, we are replacing this 60 minus 20 by 120 and minus 65. So 120 minus 65, the other elements are same, that is minus 20 80 divided by this matrix, that is 60 minus 20 minus 20, 80. So we are going to find out the determinant of each matrix, and we get the final value of I1 like 1.886 ampere. And for finding I2, the same method, that is we are replacing the second column, I2 column, the second column with the this voltage value. So 60 minus 20, it is same as that of the first matrix. Then the second column of the matrix is replaced by 120 minus 65 divided by the denominator is same, that is 60 minus 20 minus 20, 80. So we get minus 0.341 ampere for I2. So the value of I1 is 1.886 ampere and value of I2 is minus 0.341 ampere. So here also we are getting the same answer by using the second method, that is by determinant method also we are getting the same answer. The value of I2 is negative here, so we are taking the value of I2 is negative here, so we are finally goes to the conclusion that the assumed direction of I2 is wrong. So here in this figure it is showing the direction of currents. I1 is flowing like this in this direction, clockwise direction, and its value is 1.886 ampere, and I2 is flowing in anti-clockwise direction and its value is 0.341 ampere. So what is the value of current which is flowing through this 20 ohm? That is I1 plus I2. So it is flowing through this 20 ohm resistance, and that branch is BD. So the current I1 is equal to 1.886 ampere, and current I2 which is flowing through the branch DCB is equal to 0.341 ampere, and the current which is flowing through the central branch, that is BD, is equal to the sum of these two currents, that is I1 plus I2 is equal to 1.886 plus 0.341 is equal to 2.227 ampere is flowing through the branch BD. So that is the answer. Thank you.